Hello and welcome to One Click Factory Central Eastern Europe community kickoff event. This is the very first roundtable focused on Power Platforms. I expect that to be a very challenging and interesting discussion because we will have 4 experts coming from very different perspectives and have very different stories to share. I will introduce the panelists shortly, but before we move forward, I would like to put some ground rules on the table. And these are, well, first, this is a live event. Please note that. If something goes wrong, please note this is technology. Don't blame us. What are the recommendations and what is the engagement that we would be expecting from you? Because we do expect you to be active. We do expect you share your ideas, recommendations, and as this is the way to help community get stronger by learning from each other. So in your up right, you can see the chat button. If you would like something to ask, that is, you need an answer from the panelists, please use the questions and answers chat button. If there is something that you would like to recommend or suggest, like the idea for our next roundtable discussion, use the simple chat button. And here, let's have some fun. We decided to give some special prize, a sweet prize for the one who is most active or has the craziest idea on what is the coolest app developed on Power Platform that he has seen so far. So if you have seen such an app or you have an idea for such an app, please post it. We will have a special prize for you after the event. And then we have something nice from One Click Factory to you as well, a gift. Not a virtual gift, a real physical gift. Every year, One Click Factory releases a new design of socks. And we would like our partners to have these socks as a small reminder of One Click Factory. My colleague has just posted a link where you can request them. So please, I encourage you to go and request your socks so that you have a little something from us to you. And with this, let us move forward and introduce with panelists that we have on board. First, I would like to introduce you Ignas Tochkus, who is representing One Click Factory as One Click Factory expert of F&O, or Finance and Supply Chain Management, the new name of former AX. Ignas is not only leading huge upgrade projects and is developer itself, but he's actually the instructor who was one of the first to deliver trainings not only on their finance and operations, but also on Power Platforms. So Ignas, I have a question for you. How did you sense the opportunity and why Power Platform?
Yeah, so I think that's a very good question. In general, when it all started, mainly 3 years ago, when I first heard about the Power Platform, I was very interested in it because I saw that Microsoft was putting a lot of effort in promoting the platform and just carrying it out into the business and into the industries. So, of course, it caught my attention. I wouldn't expect that in any other way. So essentially, that kind of was my initial look into the Power Platform. And then from that, I started, as probably everybody, just playing around with it and looking into the capabilities, what are the possibilities, pretty much. So that was kind of the initial idea. And then from that, you start building the knowledge and you see how the platform evolves and how it changes. I think that was very, very interesting for me. And from that, then you can start building, for example, trainings like we did here at One Click Factory. Once you start to see how it evolves and what kind of new features are brought in, and then you can have these interesting discussions like we will have just right today. And I'm hoping that we will share a lot of interesting ideas around the Power Platform in general.
Yes, I do so too. The next panelist that we have is Peter Kuna, representing Microsoft. For many years, Peter was working at Microsoft and was responsible for their partner programs and strategy in Central Eastern Europe. That means that he is a primary contact to help you partners and customers get easier on board with business applications. Peter, what I liked most when we initially started talking was the fact that you mentioned While taking the possibilities, the new products, the new initiatives, usually Central Eastern Europe market is very conservative, and we then need to catch up other countries, other regions. Why? And also you mentioned that cooperation with Microsoft is the key. If you do that, you can grab these opportunities much faster. Can you elaborate more what did you mean by this?
Indeed, and thank you for the introductory words, Inga. Microsoft is a huge company, and even here in Central Eastern Europe, we have multiple subsidiaries, a lot of people, and a lot of information and communication flowing left and right. And I very much acknowledge that it's decently hard to exactly pinpoint and get the right information that you need at the exact point of time to make sure that you can develop your business in the way that you intend to do it. And when we put this into the perspective of Power Platform or any other emerging technology that Microsoft heavily invests in, these challenges are amplified even further. There are a lot of materials, a lot of events, a lot of trainings, resources that you can leverage both online and after this extra situation closes in person as well. But there are a couple of things that I would definitely highlight and ask you to consider when it comes to your partnership with Microsoft. One of my main roles is to make your connection one step easier and one step more straightforward. So please, if you feel like you're being left out of events, of communications, let's be in touch. Let's discuss what can we do together. We have a LinkedIn community where we tend to share news for the Central Eastern European Business Applications Partner community. My goal as well is to highlight the relevant local people and local connections that you can have to make sure that you do not miss your country's events that the team is doing for business applications. And just in general, to make sure that you're on track with everything. Now, I fully realize that this is an investment from your side as well. The time that people would take in being connected to Microsoft is time that you do not take on projects and on your own customer relationships. But please consider this, because investments, trainings, and materials that you can get through these channels might eventually pay out in the end. So let's work together to make sure that you always know from which direction the wind is blowing and that you always are up to date with the news and things Microsoft brings on the table.
I really liked what you shared the first time we discussed that partners should seek out for cooperation with Microsoft. We are always ready to help. We are always here to support. So whenever someone is interested or curious, we are always here. So, but be active, not proactive, right? Our next panelist that I would like to introduce is Angel Georgiev. And Angel has a terrific story to share. For working for Dynamics partners for many years, I believe like 10 years, right, Angel? He decided to move away from Dynamics partner and establish his own company, Sapiens, fully focused on product development. And guess what? Of course, the platform Angel chose was Power Platform. So Angel, can you share your thinking around why was that and why was that it was Power Platform that you chose?
Yeah, actually, a year ago, when the idea for starting something new was there, and we decided to go into the different direction. So I liked to move away from the service business and switch to the product one, and that's why we decided to create a product-based company, but not a traditional one, let's say. So we decided to build our product on a low-code platform with all the technologies and the concept and idea of low coding. So we did our research for selecting such platform. Microsoft still didn't push Power Platform or Power Apps as a low-code development tool back then, but still it was such. And we did our research. We speak to all different vendors, leading one on the market, and so at the end we go to the Power Apps and the Power Platform. Microsoft wasn't the natural choice to build our product on, but at the end we selected the platform because of the huge investments which Microsoft actually doing for the last 2 years, and also the partnership model that they have, because compared to the others, Microsoft knows how to work with partners, and they are a partner-led company. So we decided to go into this direction. We started the development of the product. In parallel, we developed a great partnership with Microsoft. So currently, our company Sapiens is a preferred Power Apps partner for the region, and not only for CE actually. Meanwhile, we have developed and went to market with our product for enterprise asset management and digital twins. We are working with Microsoft on different opportunities. They support us in the R&D, in the marketing and sales as well. So it was a great journey for the last 1 year, and starting from ground zero and reaching the peak that we are right now, and the huge interest that we have for the product, but for the technology as well, is something that I don't believe you can reach with other technology, other partner, or traditional way.
If someone is in the same position you were a year ago, would you be open to help this partner understand what are pros and cons choosing one platform versus another? Because you mentioned you did have your research, so you evaluated other options. Can other partners reach out to you and ask for these advices?
Yeah, absolutely. We are pushing the low-code idea and the technology alongside, not only alongside with Microsoft, but on our own as well for the last 1 year. And let's say we try to be ambassadors for the technology, participating in different events, even like this one. So we are open to do business with other partners and go into this direction, partner to partner. So this is one of our main models even for go to market with the product we have.
Okay, good, thank you. And our last panelist is Lukasz Makovička. And Lukasz, you have a completely different story to share. So meaning you are representing company Navisys, which is a very experienced Dynamics partner focused in Czech Republic. What is the reasoning behind? Initially, once I started investigating on this topic, I learned that partners like yourself, like your company, very experienced Dynamics partners, have a little bit pushback for Power Platform because it's non-traditional business for variety of reasons, and we will dive deep into these reasons. But this wasn't the case for Navisys. You were like the pioneer in the market. So how did this happen for you?
Well, I would agree that the business is in 90% very conservative, but we have a boss here in our company who likes to step where no man has gone before, and he likes to try new things. So he somehow pushed those conservative people to do the things they never did before. And on the other hand, we are mostly using the Power Platform as a way to expand the possibilities of Business Central or NAV, because that's what our customers want. And at the moment, we have about 4 working solutions, but we are still in the beginning. Mostly they are in testing phase. We made some apps, for example, for asset check, for signing their deliveries, absence evidence, and so on. So that's where we are now.
But it's a very interesting point. So Angel has a story where he focused completely on the product, and he's going with the product. And you actually have found Power Platforms as the way to open new businesses for you and additional value for your existing customers, right?
Right.
Okay, we will dive more into details with this. Now, I have mentioned that there were some kind of obstacles, especially in the Dynamics partner market. And Angel, this is the question for you. So you have been working for Dynamics partner for many years. What are the reasons? Because you must know these reasons on why does the market not go with the platform right the way.
Mm-hmm. There are different aspects why things are not happening, and one because even for the last 1 year have spoken with many different partners, Dynamics partners focus on CRM or ERP, F&O, and BC, or both. So the mindset is different. This is a conservative business. 90% of the Dynamics partner, they know how to get money out of ERP projects. So they are focused on the service part. They have a product. They have Dynamics 365 as a product and deploying their services around this product. So the business model is there. The market is there because it's not necessary to educate the market what is ERP, what is CRM, and so on. So leads are coming, and they majority of them, they don't want to go into different step compared, for example, to Navisis. With the mindset is different, the approach is different from sales and marketing perspective, from delivery and support as well. So they would like to go to make money with the streamlined channel that they have. And the Power Platform is something that is new. They are not sure how this product or this platform would develop, and they don't know how to go to market. So the natural choice is to go to your existing customers with the Power Platform and trying to extend what's already implemented. But that's it. If they need to go to a different market, it's a totally different story, and investment majority of the partners are not ready to make currently.
And this is a perfect opportunity, like companies as Sapiens, right?
Yeah, it is. And for many others, but they are still not ready to go in.
Peter, you also mentioned that there were some kind of miscommunication, misunderstanding on the market, and that is one of the reasons why partners push back a little bit. Can you elaborate on what was that reason and why the messaging went wrong?
So one of the things that I've seen on the market, and that might be maybe a miscommunication on our strategy in the marketing, is the fact that we very heavily position Power Platform as a low-code, no-code platform, which in terms meant to a lot of partners and a lot of potential users of the tool that they discarded the option to work with platforms straight away, right from the get-go, because the people who we really want to work with do actually do coding and do actually do custom developments and enhance functionality of products. And how we put this right now is I like to call out that while you have the option with Power Platform to do low-code and no-code type development, if you really would like to achieve something great, and if you really would like to create something of value, the best way to go by using Power Platform is easing your chores and the boring tasks of the development through using the features that are given by Microsoft and focusing on your value add and your integrations and the actual business value that you would like to create. So from my side, the low-code, no-code approach was a challenge to overcome because it doesn't really mean exactly what people think it means in our case. And yeah, that was definitely something that we needed to discuss, and we need to make sure people take a deeper look at. One more thing, maybe, if I may, Inga, is
yes, of course.
People also had a feeling, it's a new product. Power Platform is relatively new compared to other Microsoft portfolio items. And I would like to just highlight to you that regardless of it being new, this platform is here to stay. Microsoft is putting heavy investments into the internal community, meaning salespeople, meaning technical enablement resources, new exams, new paths eventually for competency, investments to bring it to customers. So there's a lot of things happening. And I really see that the traction is picking up and it is just going to grow from here on out. So regardless of if we call it low-code, no-code, or custom app development platform, this is here to stay. And if you decide to work with it, you are not making a mistake by any means.
I think we will elaborate this discussion, low code, no code, even more. But yes, that is a very good point. And it is a good point that you mentioned that Power Platform is here to stay, as this is something that we hear on the market as well, going, well, Microsoft, we have seen the experiences that we have to wait and see whether something is here to stay. So it's good that you're confirming that Microsoft is putting huge investments and Power Platform will be here with you. Okay, so with that, let's move us with a starting point, because this is, it's an interesting how one finds the investment that is needed, worth it. And Ignas, I would have a question to you. Well, you are delivering trainings on Power Platform, so you get to meet a lot of partners, people coming. What is the audience of these people? What are their initial goals? Are they more startups, like in the case of Sapiens, or they are more Dynamics partner related people coming?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So since I myself am more from the Dynamics side, from the Dynamics F&O side, so usually people tend to know me from that perspective. So usually when people come to these trainings, most of the times I'm facing with Dynamics community people, NAV or AX, both of them, coming into these trainings and sharing their own experiences. And I can completely agree what Peter said. Most of the cases, there are two problems or issues that we face. Is first of all, yeah, the Power Platform is all cool, all nice, but is it here to stay? That's the biggest question that we get. And I completely agree with Peter that it is here to stay, and we see the investments that are being made by Microsoft. And usually a beginning for one to start with this Power Platform services is essentially to just kind of get your hands on it, You can read about it for days and days, but the best way to do it is just put your hands on it and spend, for example, one day learning, just looking at the product, trying to build something very simple, very basic, and you will get the best capabilities you can have. And that's essentially what we do here. I host these trainings together with One Click Factor, where we just take together the community for one single day, and we try to look at it. Here are the basics. Let's try to build something very simple, and you will get the hands on it quite quickly. So usually the best way to learn it is just to do it.
But so you mean people come to your trainings leading by curiosity, right? Something new I want to have my hands on.
Yeah, to be honest, yes. A lot of people still come in and they have heard something around the Power Platform. It exists, but they have not used it. They have not seen it. They have not tried to build anything. So they have their own kind of ideas. And when we talk about it, then these ideas get clearer and they see, so that's how it is,
Yes. And Lukasz, I know that you have a story. This was adding Power Platform to your portfolio, to Nevis's portfolio, was very unexpected. What is that story behind? Because I think it is an amazing story.
Well, I think like someone else said already, we started with playing with it internally. So we made some flows, some approval flows. We made a power up for our consultants when they go to customer. And we presented that at our partners days to our existing customers. And some months after that, we made a webinar for our customers where we show them some more things like that. We show them some flow for absence approval, which we are using here internally. And we made a demo of app that can connect to Business Central because that's what they are interested in. And I think this webinar for our company, it was very successful. There were quite a lot of people. I think like Ignas said, that curiosity led them there because it's something new. And right after the webinar, we got orders for some new apps, which we are working on them now, and they are in a test phase. And when I'm thinking about the key points for our customers, I think the main key point that they were interested in was using the mobile phone or tablet functions, which we can't so easily use in Business Central, or it's not possible at all. That things like barcode readers, like pen inputs for electronic signing, like easy taking photos on mobile phone and so on. Some were interested in simplifying the processes with Power Automate, with the flows, some approvers and so on. And the third key point from my side was that the app must be able to work somehow with the data in Business Central, because they don't want another system. They like to connect it to their existing data.
But I wish all the sales processes were that easy, that you produce a webinar, show something, and then suddenly you get orders coming. Yes, this is what you told me, that right after the webinar, we didn't even have the solutions ready, but we got the first orders. This is not very typical, right?
Well, there was some presentations a few months ago, so the partners knew a bit. It was not webinar and right after orders, but yeah, we have some technical enthusiasts, I think, too, on the customer side. So that's it.
Okay, Angel, you mentioned already that Dynamics partners are a bit hesitating moving forward, and yet you shared that they are losing a perfect opportunity, because as Dynamics, being for the Dynamics partner for years, you know the trick on how can they open the door, just like Navisis did for new businesses. So can you share the trick that you had in mind?
Yeah. What Lukasz said is purely the first natural step to go to your existing customers, and many of the examples we have seen in the market for the last 6 months are exactly this one. But the other thing is that take, for example, SAP, Oracle, Salesforce customers. They are the one we are actually targeting right now as well, because for our product and for this technology, there is no matter whatever you using 365 F&O or Oracle or HANA or whatever. So this is a potential market not only for us but for Microsoft as well. And being on the platform, you can go there very easily because you have the connectors, you have the value proposition for such customers. If you are Dynamics CRM or ERP partner, these customers are already lost for you in many cases. So rarely the customer will switch from SAP to Microsoft, or if they have a Salesforce, they would implement Business Central or F&O. So it's a huge market, and if you have the right solution to propose and the technology that could back up this solution, like the case of the Power Platform, the potential market is huge for you. And it's up to you to decide how you address this market and how you approach the market, because it's a totally different story, of different than selling ERP or CRM or warehouse management solution, or selling Teams or Office. So what other challenges
completely different story,
completely different story, but you have the market and you have the opportunity, and you're starting getting the demand because the low-code development idea and the Power Platform as a product and as a brand are pushed very much for the last 1 year. So more and more customers know what is this, because last year we needed to educate the market what is low-code, what is Power Apps. Nobody heard for them, so it was a huge challenge for us, and it was one of the mistakes we made going to the market.
I do see that we have a question from Vitaly, whether we are going to actually show the Power Apps working cases integrated with Business Central. So it is not the goal to show that during this session, but Angel, Lukasz, would you be willing to show can Vitaly and other partners contact you to see the real solutions working with Business Central? Would you be open for that?
Yeah. We can try to they can try to ask, and we will see if we will have time.
So Vitaly, this is a definitely yes. Please contact both Engel and Lukasz. Would be willing to show and maybe to look even for the cooperation options. But now that we talked about this low code, no code development, so how much time does actually partner needs to estimate to get on board with Power Platform? And again, maybe Ignas, we can start with you. So we have a one-day workshop. By the way, we have a 4-hour workshop sponsored by Microsoft on Power Platform in integration possibilities at One Click Factory for Adriatic partners. So if you're coming for Adriatic region, I would recommend going to One Click Factory and register for this workshop. But Ignas, if someone comes to your one-day workshop, how much can they expect to gain?
Yeah, so of course, starting out a single day, it depends on your background very much. So if you're coming just without any prior knowledge and you're just looking at the Power Platform for the first time, you will gain a lot of knowledge. There will be so much that it might go on top of your head. If you're coming with some background already, you have experienced the Power Platform. So of course you will have easier time to understand the topics, but it's also will be very valuable because you will meet like-minded people. You will meet people who will all coming for the same idea to look at the Power Platform, look at how it works, how we can connect our ERP applications, Dynamics applications, and any other product, how the connectors work. And I think the actual knowledge that you gain, first of all, it depends on your experiences, but secondly, I think you will, no matter what, you will find it valuable.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Engel? Well, you mentioned one day definitely is not enough for playing, yes, but if you want to build a successful product-focused company, that will take much more than this. So what is your view on this?
Yeah, it depends what you want to achieve. So we are delivering trainings, for example, 3-day training or 6 days for half a day. But this is to onboard some people of embracing the idea and get familiar with the technology. If you like to publish a product on a Microsoft app source, to have the sales and marketing engine working, to have the chain of R&D developing, supporting this solution, it took us between 6 months and a year to have the basics and continue to develop on top. So if you like to provide services, you can be there for a month or two. But if you like to make a product, you need a year.
One day for playing, 1 year for product development, and then Lukasz, what is your story? Because I know, well, you have experience of 6 years of programming, and you said that overall you were a self-learner with the Power Platform. So how did you find it easy to get on board with a new product, as it was a new product for you?
Yeah, I think it's really easy to start. The documentation for the basic things is quite well written, and there are a lot of resources, some YouTube channels and so on the internet. So I learned that from that, and so it's possible. But I think it's easy to start. But when you start to make some more complex applications, it starts to get more complex too. Sometimes you are struggling with the low code because it's making things easier for simple things, and sometimes it makes things tougher when you want to make something more complex. So for example, we struggled a bit with the connection to Business Central. It seemed to be easy. It was not so much in the end.
We can train on that, on the integrating solutions with Business Central or FNO. And Peter, you mentioned that there are various Microsoft programs, right, to get on board.
Yes, so there are multiple ways to discuss and learn more about Power Platform. Currently, they are all online, but I would invite you to in-person events and in-person options as well, and will invite you to do so once we are back on track. But just to mention a couple of sources without the, how to say, the willingness or the full picture currently being presented to you, we have a platform which is called Microsoft Learn, which is our baseline learning platform for everything that's Microsoft. And that's the place where we put all of our learning materials and exam preparation materials when it comes to everything that's Power Platform and everything that's Microsoft. That's definitely something I'd like to propose you to take a look at. You can find their exams as well, exact exams related to Power Platform. So if you set yourself the goal that you would like to train people in your organization, you can set them milestones to say which exams to pass and how deep they would go into the platform itself. And one more exciting thing that I would call out in this regard is that on partner.microsoft.com, we have an asset library, and I will try and get the link for you, and we'll put it in the chat window. And in that asset library, we have a terrible way to filter things, but there's a lot of content, technical content and marketing content and learning content that you can use. One of them being full materials for the so-called App in a Day workshop. So if you have a boring day on your holiday, you would like to do something on your own and you feel like your family wants to leave you alone for a while, you can just pop it out, take a look at the App in a Day concept, try and self-drive it yourself, and then reach out if you need any further support. But basically, a lot of things are there on demand available. And once we have events and once we have the in-person things, there will be even more options for you to engage.
Thank you. Well, thank you for the link and for the content. What about lessons learned? So this is the question. When someone's starting, there's always the question. So is there something that I should be keeping an eye on? And Angel, do you have, I'm pretty sure you will have a lot to share, but what is the key lesson learned for you?
No, we have a long list with this.
I remember that you said for us, the most important thing was not to learn how to position Power Platform, but how to not position Power Platform.
Yeah, it's maybe the first mistake everyone make, going with technology first, because what makes you different from the very beginning is the technology you have selected. And if you are trying to position the technology and that you can do everything with this technology, okay, you put the marketing content, you make the efforts, but no one gets you what you actually are offering, because you're offering some brand with capabilities to do everything, and when you offer everything, you are selling nothing. So that's why we spend a lot of time to make the value proposition for the product backed up by the technology and backed up by Microsoft as well. And these are the differentiators of your product and your solution. So if you don't have an idea what you would like to do with the platform, better not go in this direction at all. So
okay, so really know what you're selling.
You need to know what you're selling, and you need to sell added value. You don't need to sell the technology, because everyone can do this with different technology. So in one way or another, of course, like Peter said, there is a lot of materials. You try to do things from technical perspective. You find out that sometimes something you would like to do is not possible with the platform, and then you need the developer to do the things and complete your requirements on top of the platform. That's why it's a low code. It's not a no code. This is not a no code technology. So, and this is the great thing about the product, because you can extend whenever it's needed.
Lukasz, what was your lesson learned?
Well, I have one point from the business point of view, because we are working in a traditional business and our customers are kind of expecting from us the traditional approach. That means we analyze, we propose, we develop, then we are testing, and then we are deploying the application. And the Power Platform, it's suited for the agile approach, I think, that you will sit with the customer and update up on the go with him, but that turned out problematic with our customers. So we need to be extra careful at the analysis part so that we can deliver them the solution as complete as possible, because otherwise it generated problems. So that's one from the business point of view. And from a technical point of view, for example, we underestimated the deployment of the apps. So when you have the app ready and working in your testing environment, and you just need to put it in the customer environment, then it turned out this was a lot more time consuming than we thought. I know Microsoft is working hard on that. It should be easier in the future, but right now that's not the experience I like very much.
Agree with Lucas. Forget about waterfall.
I wasn't planning to, but Peter, would you like to add something to this?
I fully feel you. So I'm coming from the technical side myself as well. And now I'm sitting more on the business end of things. But I see, and that's the way how Microsoft introduces new technologies. We are learning and working together with you in the development and in the creation of these features. And our 2 releases each year, the Wave 1 and Wave 2, or however we call them, we are good at renaming things. They always contain updates and the insights and ideas that the people who work with the platform, such as yourselves, are the biggest inspiration for the team to do new developments. And if you haven't already, and that goes for everyone on the call as well, you can submit your own ideas for the development of certain Dynamics and Power Platform solutions through the ideas.dynamics.com website, which is actually one of the main sources for our product teams to discuss what would be the features implemented and developed and enhanced in the next releases. So there is an option to engage. There is heavy willingness from the product team to increase and make the experience better, but I'm fully aware that we are not at the optimal state, and that's just a dream and that's just a goal that we'd like to achieve.
Ignas, is there anything else that you would like to add to this lesson learned?
Well, from my side, the main lessons were already shared, but in general, in the beginning, when started, my personal experiences was that you still need to, there's some stuff that you can't really do with the low code, as Lukas mentioned. And then when you start moving to the more advanced stuff, then that will be more time consuming. So you need to understand appropriately that building a production-ready apps, they really require a lot of effort. It's not like a sandbox environment where you can just do it in a week or 2.
Okay. Yeah. We are planning to cover the 3 top recommendations that we would like to have for the audience, and each of the panelists prepared the list. But as we have ran out of time, we will collect and bundle all these recommendations and send to you via email. And with this, I just would like to say that, if you are still hesitating with Power Platforms, you don't have too much time, I think, for hesitation. Partners, product managed companies as Sapiens, even though they might not have too many customers on board yet, but that picture will change soon. And if you don't want to run chasing them, you better start now. And we can help. We at One Click Factory can help either connecting you with Navices or Sapiens partners who have already gone this way, or we can connect you with the right Microsoft people on board. We can, of course, train you. So please check out the webinars that we have, the workshops that we have, and register to this. And lastly, I would encourage you to sign up for One Click Factory's CSP program. This is the program that we have just launched for partners from Central Eastern Europe with the aim to help partners grow. Even though the CSP program is about the selling cloud licenses, it's not our initial goal. First, we're interested to helping you grow. And then once you grow, of course, we expect you to transition licenses with One Click Factory. So thank you for all for joining. Thank you, panelists. I hope that I will see you on the second roundtable discussion, which will be on the very hot topic on is CE market ready for packaged and subscription-based business. So if you have not registered yet, please do so. And with that, once again, I would like to say thank you for Angel, Peter, Lucas, and Ignas. See you next time.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for attending our discussion.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.